Hi, welcome to a reading vlog where I finish series or work on series. I'm starting this now for a very specific reason. And that is because one, I'm currently reading a volume of Oron. I'm on volume 13 right now. I just picked it up. I'm like just short of halfway through. At the point where I am, Haruhi may have finally recognized her feelings for Tamaki. That's a thing that's happening. Somebody please send help. Cause yeah. And then on top of that, the other reason why is because in my weekend reading vlog, I DNF'd the last book in a series, therefore DNFing a series, which means I'm currently reading 69 series. And obviously I had to start this before I start another one, because I know in the vlog that comes out before this one, I'm starting 3 different series, and so by doing that, despite the fact that I'm gonna read those books before this vlog comes out, I want to start this vlog first, just so that I can say that I'm in the middle of a 69 series. Anyways, I also have the volume 14, and a bunch of other books. I have so many books I want to read for this. I also want to finish the Monster Smut series I'm in the middle of, a bunch of other things, so this is just gonna be a hodgepodge of books that I'm gonna read. Right? And maybe I'll actually finish a series as well. I wanna finish the Monster Smut one, because I have the second novella, and then there's 2 full-length novels after that. But I have access to both of them right now, so I might as well, right? And that will at least not make it so those 3 new series will, bring me up again. I did so well last month. Last month I got down to 70, Anyways, I'm not gonna talk about plans. Do I have, 5 different books from the library that are all middle books in series? Yes. Am I gonna talk about any of them other than Oron right now? No. Anyways, Oron volume 13, I'm reading it. I'll probably update you either when I finish it or when I've read both 13 and 14. Right? Okay. Hello, future me from finishing this vlog. Here to inform you that I decided to do this thing that I contemplated doing for a while now, where I have the whole entire list of series I'm in the middle of, and I screen record it, and I put it here. So if I do this split screen properly, you will be seeing it right now, all 13-14 seconds of it. Have fun. Hello, hi, guess who finished volumes 13 and 14 of Oron the past 2 days. 13, let's start with 13. 13 is Hikaru admitting he has feelings for Haruhi, not only to himself, but to Haruhi. That's the cliffhanger ending, is him literally asking, will you go out with me? I was very happy I had the 14th already on hold or on loan from Libby, because why would you do that to me personally? So that's happening, but also as he's getting up the nerve to do that, he's also recognizing Tamaki's feelings for her, and why everyone's recognizing why he hides that fact from himself. Basically, the fact that he views Oron, the host cub, as his family because of his tumultuous family bonds in real life, especially with his grandmother and whatnot. It makes sense. So everyone's like, okay, he doesn't want to ruin it by doing this, so he's hiding it even from himself. But also at the same time, Haruhi is recognizing her feelings for Tamaki. And it's all around just a great time. Yeah, there's also a ski trip. That's another thing. There's a ski trip. And I don't know what to say except 5 stars. Why I don't know what possessed me at that exact moment, but that became my whole personality for 24 hours. There's that specific volume. And so, 5 stars. Love that for me. So close to 50 now. Total. Love that. And then volume 14 was, starts right after Hikaru says, hey, I like you. Go out with me? To Haruhi. They're still on a ski trip technically. And he's all like, take some time to figure out your answer, right? And then decides to throw an impromptu New Year's party with everyone. So that's happening. Also, another thing that's happening in these two volumes is that Tamaki is partially focusing more on his family's business. And so because of that, right? He has less time for the host club in general. Like, he's trying to put more energy into the host club, like the behind the scenes stuff, like actually working on the behind the scenes stuff with Kyoya. That's mostly just been Kyoya's doing. But also because of both of those things happening, he has less time for the host club. Like, he's showing up late now and all this stuff. Meanwhile, Harvey is trying to put more energy into the host club, which is interesting. So good times. Things that happen in the 14th. Okay, so the end of the ski trip. Everyone is together because things happened with Hikaru and ski accident, technically. So then Hikaru has a talk with Tamaki, and he's like, hey, despite the fact that you have all this family trauma and whatnot, you shouldn't have that stop you from shooting your shot with Haruhi, right? And then Tamaki's like, wait, what? Wait, what? He does figure out on his own. Like, at one point, he's just talking to Kyoya about host club stuff, and he's just like, yeah, I recognize my attachment to people is because of this and all this stuff. And Kyoya's like, wait a second, when did he figure this out? When did he go and be adult? Post New Year's, they go to a temple of some kind, as a group, right? Along with Harui's father's co-worker / best friend's daughter, May, right? So they're all together. There's like this whole competition to like get Haruhi the best gift for only $10, whichever one she likes best. And Tamaki gets her a giant tuna ring, and he gets her giant tuna ring. She laughs at him. And then they're having a conversation about how she's changed a lot in like the past few months, and it's because he like always says new experiences are important. That's like kind of his thing. And so she took that to heart as like she doesn't do enough. She just coasts, and so now she's like trying to do all these things. It's like, okay, but you should still not say yes to everything and all this stuff. And also like you may recognize now that you're very standoffish at points, but like despite that you have still been really kind and understanding of me and all this stuff. And she's like, oh, okay. And it's like this cute heart to heart, and then he gives her the tuna ring, and then, or sushi ring, you know, and this is not a joke, she's kidnapped. It literally, the chapter I did, and it was like, was Harvey kidnapped? And then Tamaki runs to the rest of the group, and he's like, hey, I think Tamaki was, or not Tamaki was kidnapped, Haruhi was kidnapped. I think Haruhi was kidnapped because I found her fancy tuna ring that I gave her on the ground, and that is the only solution. Either that, or she became the fancy tuna ring. And they're like, you are crazy. But then a lawyer for the Suo Tamaki's family company, who happened to go to school at around the same time, same school as Haruhi's mother, so he like introduced them and whatnot in like the 13th volume, because he was like, hey, I thought you'd be interested in meeting a lawyer, one because you want to be a lawyer like your mom, but also because like she has some ties to your mother, right? Very sweet out of the blue thing he did. She witnessed the kidnapping, so she's like, hey, so Haruhi was kidnapped. Anyways, the kidnappers are really nice guys. They run a dry cleaners, right? That used to have contracts with the Suo business, but the contracts have ended, and didn't get renewed because they're going with cheaper options instead of older traditional options, right? That take more time, so more expensive. And so they were planning, two of the underlings were planning to kidnap Tamaki to get the Suo money, right? But then they were like, wait a second, Tamaki's big boy. He like tall, 6'3". He's like 6'3" canonically. He's somewhere between 6 and 6'3" canonically. I'm very sure. Okay. And so like see him talking with Haruhi, so they kidnap Haruhi instead. And then the boss guy's like, you guys are idiots. Her jacket's only $30. And you work at a dry cleaners, you should notice this. Right? And so they feel bad for kidnapping her. It's very sweet. And then that's when Bunny kicks the middle door. Right? There's like this whole thing where they're all rushing, they find her eventually, and then Tamaki like runs to her and they're holding onto each other and it's very sweet. And then she's all like, "Hey, can we go back to the temple because I lost something?" And he gives her the fancy tuna ring that she dropped when she was kidnapped, and she's like, "Oh, thank you. That's what I missed." God, it's so good. And then they go back to school. There's like also a buried treasure map thing that's happening. I think that one actually happens in the 13th. I don't. God, who knows? And then there's this new girl in town, or there's this new girl at school. They're doing like an equestrian club thing, right? Oh, also the winner of the buying Haruhi a present thing for only $10. The winner got to choose the next event for the host club, and the next event is then an equestrian club event chosen by Tamaki. Anyways, there's this new girl. She gets attacked by a horse. Tamaki jumps in and protects her and gets kicked. He's like fine. He's bruised pretty bad, but like otherwise he's fine, right? And she feels bad because he's like not able to use one of his arms really for a few days, and so she's like, "Okay, I'll cook for you and I'll take care of you until then." And it turns out that her father owns a bunch of traditional Japanese restaurants, right? Around the world, and he was gonna open up another one, but then her mother and her family were like, "Hey, this is too much. What about your family?" And he's like, "But restaurants." And so then she took the new character and just left and was like, "Hey, if you do this, you'll never see your daughter again." Very similar to like Tamaki and his situation with his mother. And so everyone else recognizes first that she has a thing for him and is using an attachment to him to deal with that, right? And she at one point does ask him out, and he says no, and she still continues to cook for him and cooks for everyone else. Also, as soon as like the first day she cooks for him, everyone realizes that she looks a lot like Haruhi, but she's like the version of Haruhi that is in Tamaki's mind whenever he dreams of being with Haruhi, right? So everyone's like, "Oh no, we can't let this happen." So they're trying to intervene in some way. Around this point is when Tamaki recognizes or points out that he recognizes his attachment to people, and that's why he doesn't like. He turned down her like or romantic advances, but he's like, "I don't want to turn down her friendship because I understand. Like, I get it." I'm going way into depth for a 200-page manga. And then, so that's happening. Good times. Also the lawyer for the Suo family, Kyoya, decides to have her looked into because she was around when the kidnapping of Haruhi happened. And there's a thing where she's working with someone to get Tamaki into the main house, which he's never like been access to the main Suo house because his grandmother hates him so much and all this stuff, right? Good times. Other things. Haruhi and Tamaki has a conversation. So like the new girl's asking Tamaki questions about himself, and he's answering them. And then he's asking Haruhi those same exact questions 5 seconds later, and recognizing they're very different people. Meanwhile, this other girl is just answering whatever he says, and all this stuff. And then Haruhi, there's this whole thing in the whole series where Tamaki is very big, very, very big on making crazy plans to make things happen the way that he thinks they deserve to happen, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. It's very big in the first few and all this stuff. And so in this one, at the end, Haruhi makes a plan so that this new girl, something to do with the new girl and whatnot. I assume that she can be happy with her father or something like that. And they all decide to work together to make this plan come to fruition. But it's gotta be secret from Tamaki, which is weird because normally he's the one making the plans. He's very big on plans and whatnot. And that's how it ends. And I rated it 4.75. And yeah, that's that. Next book I'm going to read, it could be another Oron. It's not going to be. I only have 4 volumes left and I'm scared. So, if there's a weird cut at the end of the last clip, it's totally not my fault. I totally decided not to read a book that I said I was gonna read, and here we are. Um, many, many days later. I don't remember the next amount of time, but it's definitely a long time. Um, I, last night, read the next novella in the Monstrous something? The Monster Smut series I'm reading, which is Ensnared by the Werewolf. It's like half as long as the first novella, which I'm pretty sure the first novella and the second full-length novel in the series I read in last month's fishing series vlog, right? And so this one is a continuation of both of those. The female main character, Belinda, is the one who's supposed to be the date of the lake monster in the novella. And then the werewolf male of interest, I think his name is Jake. Very funny, Lillian Lark. Very funny. He works for the Gargoyles company in like construction from the Sea by the Gargoyles, the second full-length novel in the series. Okay. Before, like, the first thing I saw when I picked it up, when I like labeled it as reading on Goodreads, was people complaining about how it's really not that smutty. To give you an idea, it's labeled as romance, not erotica on Storygraph. I think so is the first novella, but this first novella has at least 10 times as much smut. This one has 1.5 scenes, and that half scene is the epilogue, and it cuts off halfway through it. Right? Like, they're about to go for round 2, and it's just like, oh, we're happily ever after. Like, that's it. So, you know, and that's like the secondary epilogue. Okay? The plot of it is Jake, I'm going with that's his name, is cursed. He's been going around trying to, all these witches to, like, and just curse. Actually, it starts in the future or current day of her going on the date with the lake monster, going in the woods, and then getting lost, and then running into him, and he's in wolf form, so he chases her down. And then it cuts to the past where we see them first meet. He goes to her for like witchy curse stuff, and she specializes in that. And then, but like the first time she looks into it, she recognizes, hey, we're soulmates, right? So she's trying to break the curse while also he's like hitting on her and like taking her out on these little dates, but he doesn't want to take her out on a real date because he finds that he is like monstrous and whatnot in his wolf form, and he's not able to like turn like the way he used to. It's very clear that he's not a wolf shifter, he's a lycanthrope, aka werewolf. As soon as she picks up a bunch of books about wolf shifters, and she's like, I even grabbed this one for no reason except that I found it very interesting, despite the fact that they're labeled as extinct. But like a lot of old fae shifter types are labeled as extinct, even though they're not, you know, like the main character in the first one in the series. It was very obvious that he was going to be lycanthrope the whole time, and he wasn't actually cursed. That's just what he is, right? So basically she tries to end the curse. It almost kills her in the process, and then he leaves her, and she's going on this date. It cuts back up to present day. Yes. Where he hasn't like called her. He's basically avoided her for months, and she's trying to like get some sweet loving to ignore how she feels and whatnot. And then basically he chases her down the woods. They bang. And then a very annoying scene where she's, for like many, many pages, being like, hey, I actually still like you. I don't care about the whole you being a beast thing. And he's all like, you don't know what you like because you've never seen me in beast form because I purposely hide it from you, and all this stuff. It's back and forth where he doesn't accept her real feelings until she seduces him into believing her true feelings. And then he's like, okay, maybe you're right. And then they do the bite thing where they become mates officially, and then after the fact is when she recognizes, oh shit, you're actually a lycanthrope, not a wolf shifter. And then literally the first epilogue is after the fact, many months later, where he she helped him find other lycanthropes to like trade his magical abilities to switch between human and wolf and whatnot. And then them seeing also they're going to a party or a barbecue of the gargoyles from the second book, and they have kids now, and so they're both having baby fever, and then the second epilogue is just them banging without her pregnancy necklace to protect against pregnancy. That's it. That's the whole thing. It's 70 pages of setup, and then the resolution is like 10 pages, if that. Like, it's I wish it was a full 100 pages like the first novella, so that there would be at least like 30 pages of actually like resolution to all the setup of their romance. But alas, that's not what we have. So it was fine. 3 stars. I'm gonna read the next full-length novel. I'm gonna start it. I want to try to read the whole thing today, and then read the last one that is currently out tomorrow. Right? That is the plan. The next one is something by the Basilisks, which follows the main character of the second book, the Gargoyles one's best friend who's human. They work together, right? And she has recently learned in that one, when she was kidnapped by magical beings, that magic is real, right? And so they work for the same guy who's kind of a jerk, very much a jerk, right? And at the end, in like a bonus epilogue, he orders her to like look into this magical book thing, and then she gets cursed. So the plot of the third book is her being cursed and needing to find a way to go against the curse and blah 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 blah, and he feels bad, so he helps her out, but also he's already made it to, I think, another basilisk, and then it's just a throuple, which, if you don't know, I love thruples, so I'm here, I'm ready for it. But yeah, that's the update. Okay, this is gonna be a fast update because it's after 8:30. The day before this goes up, 8:30 p.m. because days have passed and things have happened. I'm gonna start with the basilisk one. I got about 120 pages into it, which is about a quarter, in like 4 days. It took me so long to get that far because I did not care. Mostly, I did not trust one of the love interests, Ari's character. He was very manipulative, and I get it. One of the gargoyles in the last one was kind of manipulative, but like within 20%, you know why and what, and so do the other characters. It was 80% to learn what he was doing. So it kind of mixed with the humming was the straw that broke the camel's back in my reading slump. So instead, I picked up Heartstopper Volume 5 because I got it from Libby. It took like 3 months, but I got it. So I read that, finished it first thing this morning. 5 stars, great, good times. I turned myself into a pretzel. It wasn't really like anything, and it wasn't something I didn't already know from reading the Nick and Charlie novella, right? But that being said, it was good. There was a cute conversation, not even cute, a heartwarming conversation between Charlie and his sister, with her new relationship and her sexuality, and how some people may view that, and how Charlie views that in his personal relationship with Nick. And it's cute, and they're both cute, and you know, it was just really good. Back to the basilisk, I just finished it. Yeah, it takes until like 80% for you to learn what Ari's doing. And I don't think I gave you details of what happens. Amelia basically becomes Medusa based off of a curse, but it's actually not a curse. She's chosen from a goddess, and Ari is manipulating all of this to make it so that his recently ex, Jasper, who is her direct boss, and her will be with him, and he can finally have the family that he lost, and blah blah blah, blah. Right? And in order to do that, he basically manipulates this situation that's very traumatic for her, and makes it so that it benefits him and whatnot. And part of that is victim blaming her for things that happened in the Gargoyles one when she was kidnapped. And that's when she learned about the magic world. He basically is like, oh, you were kidnapped and harmed, blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm not gonna baby you with your nightmares. You know what would have saved you? Having Medusa powers. Maybe if you actually use your Medusa powers, then you actually be safe and all this stuff. And then, like, next thing you know, she's a boss ass bitch who kicks ass, and she's strong now because he said that. And no, that's just victim blaming. No, there's like a part where Jasper in the beginning, he is a very socially awkward man. So the way he worded it, it very much felt like, because he said the whole ordeal with the other character, right? Grace. And that's how he words it. But like, he's the one that cares and comforts for her when she's dealing with PTSD from being kidnapped. So yeah, I'm Team Jasper. I hate Ari so much. On top of that, it took a good chunk of the book to get to any smut. And it's a monster smut. And third of all the like twists and plot points were very predictable. Like, oh no, Ari's keeping a secret. Oh no, we learned about this secret. Oh no, we decided to separate. But oh look, Jasper and I are together. And then oh no, we're secretly bonded. But now suddenly the head people figure out that we're secretly bonded almost immediately afterwards. So then he's arrested. So Ari comes and takes his place, and I have to save Ari's life. And now we're a throuple happily ever after. Like, it was so predictable. And that's why I'm giving it 2 stars. And yeah. I don't know when I'm going to read Hoarded by the Dragon. The last book that's out for now. I know the next one, the last one, according to Goodreads, comes out in, I think, November of this year. So I have time. Plenty of time. The dragon from that book was a side character in this one. That was honestly the most interesting part. Anyways, I played a lot of RuneScape while listening to it because I had to pick up the audiobook because I was struggling. Anyways, next video should be the TBR. Yes. This is the last one for a little bit of time. Next month there isn't gonna be a finishing series vlog, because I had to postpone the middle vlog, the theme vlog for this month. So there's gonna be 2 theme vlogs next month instead of a themed and a finishing series. So that's a thing. And yeah, I think that's it. Like and subscribe. I don't know. Links below.